What if the person you rejected because of their appearance, religion, background, or lifestyle was actually the person God was sending to help you? There is something I heard from one Nigerian man of God. I love listening to Apostle Joshua Selman. That really made me think. He said, in essence, that when God wants to help you, He creates proximity between you and your helpers. And you don't need everybody, you need the right people. That statement is powerful because sometimes the helper is already around you, but you reject the help because the person doesn't look like the kind of person you expected. Now let me explain. Imagine a young lady meets a young man. He approaches her respectfully and tells her he is interested in her, but the young man has dreadlocks, piercing. Maybe he dresses differently from what she likes. She looks at him and immediately says, "This is not my type," and she walks away. But what if that young man has a good heart? What if that young man is a hard working? What if he is responsible? What if he would have loved her genuinely and supported her dreams? She rejected the possibility before she even took time to know the person. And the same thing happens to men. A man meets a beautiful lady, he likes her, but she has a nose piercing. Maybe she dresses differently. She may have tattoo. Maybe she doesn't look like the kind of woman he imagined himself marrying. And he immediately concludes, this girl is not a wife material. But what if he is wrong? But what if behind that appearance is a woman with a beautiful heart? A woman who is intelligent, hardworking, loyal, and supportive. Sometimes we reject people based on packaging without ever opening the box. And this is not only about relationship. It happens with job, business, friendship, partnership, even opportunities. I remember something that happened to me personally. I once recommended a young lady for a job. Because of my recommendation, the company gave her a very good opportunity and a good deal. Few days later, she called me. She had quit. I asked her why. Her response really shocked me. According to the lady, she couldn't work there because the CEO was a Muslim. I was surprised. I was honestly surprised because the CEO wasn't looking for a Christian or a Muslim to work with. He was looking for competent people who could do the job. He didn't care what religion his employees belongs to. He cared about their character, their ability, and their performance. So I recommended another person. That person accepted the opportunity and the deal. Today, he's still there. And sometimes he calls me simply to say, Brahima, thank you for connecting me to this opportunity. Look at the difference. One person saw religion, the other person saw opportunity. And sometimes the difference between where you are and where you want to be is simply what you are willing to look beyond. Now, I'm not saying you should ignore values. No, everyone has values. I'm not saying you should accept everybody into your life. And I'm certainly not saying every person who comes around you is sent by God to help you. You see, discernment is important. Character matters. Value matters. And I would say trust also matters. But don't confuse discernment with prejudice. Don't reject somebody simply because they don't fit the picture you created in your mind. Because your helper may not come dressed the way you expected. Your business partner may not belong to your church. Your biggest client may not share the same religion. Your opportunity come through somebody you would never have approached. And let me make this personal with World Cup. One of the biggest financial support I have received in my life came from a young man who wasn't a Christian or a Muslim. He wasn't particularly a religious person. We became friends because of my content on social media. He followed what I was doing. One day, I needed a serious sponsorship for one of my programs. I wasn't expecting him to be the person who would come through for me, but he did. He supported me heavily, Charlie. auto blog mame. And that wasn't only the only time. I've had people from different backgrounds, different beliefs, and different walks of life who have supported me in ways I would never forget. And sometimes I sit back and think, if I had limited my friendships to only people who look like me, believe exactly like me, or worship the way I worship, would I have met some of these people? Probably not. And that is the lesson. God can use people you never expected. So don't be too quick to say, he doesn't look like me. She is not from my church. He is not from my tribe. He dresses differently. She dresses differently. He doesn't have the kind of background I like. I don't think people like them can help me. You may be closing a door because you don't like the person standing in front of it. But be careful, because sometimes the door is attached to the person. And I've learned something else. You don't need hundreds of people in your life. You only need few genuine people. You need a person who will answer when you call. The person who will recommend you whenever you are not in the room. The person who will tell you the truth whenever someone else is praising you. The person who will support your dream without trying to own you. The person who will still see potential in you before everyone does. Those are the people you need. So stop looking for helpers only in familiar places. Stop thinking your breakthrough must come from someone who belongs to your church, your mosque, your family, or your tribe, or your social circle. Sometimes your helper is sitting across the table from you. Sometimes they are in your workplaces. Sometimes they are watching your content on social media. Sometimes they are a stranger you haven't even spoken to properly. And sometimes you are the helper someone else has been praying for. That is why we must treat people well, because you never know who is carrying an opportunity that could change your life. You never know. You never know who will recommend you tomorrow. You never know who will open a door for you. And you never know who God may use to answer a prayer you have been making for years. So yes, have standards. Everyone, you need to have standards. Use wisdom. Wisdom matters. Look at character, but don't let appearance, religion, tribe, accent, hairstyle, clothing, or your preconceived ideas make decisions for you. Take time to know people, because sometimes the person you are rejecting today is the person you will need tomorrow. And perhaps the biggest lesson I have for you today: don't pray for helpers while rejecting people simply because they don't look like the helpers you imagine. Your helper may not look like your expectation, but if you are wise enough to recognize them, you may realize that the answer was closer than you thought. My name is Bra Ima. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'm always grateful. If you are not on my YouTube, go there. I have more. If you are on my YouTube and you have not subscribed to the channel, kindly subscribe to the channel Bra Ima Studios. May that sing, sure Sabri be